Hey guys, good morning. It is October 16th, Sunday morning. UC here from iTradePrice. Just wanted to make a quick video on E-Mini NASDAQ futures contract. This is something I personally trade a lot. If I've been given a choice that you can only trade one thing for a living for the rest of your life, so what would that instrument be? For me personally, it will be NQ. And I'll get in the reasons for that, but just to find out a little bit more information about it, you can always visit, from the official definition of this contract, when does it get settled, and there's just some interesting specifications about the contract. What does each tick means, all that stuff, how does the settlement work, all that stuff. It's a lot of information, but don't be overwhelmed. But if you're just talking from the perspective of trading, you just need to know a few things, right? And then you can trade around it. You just don't need to worry about when does it get clearance, all that mumbo jumbo stuff. So you can read all about that over here. But okay, from the perspective of why I personally trade it so much, why I like it, number one, it is liquid. What do I mean by liquid? So by liquid, it means the spreads between a bid and ask are very tight, very minimal. So you're not, even if you are looking to scalp, it is easier because you don't have to wait for the price to move a lot to get you into a profitable position, right? So that's a good thing. So that's what liquidity means, right? Always available to be traded 24/7. Well, not 7. Just it's closed on the weekends, but it's pretty much traded all throughout the night, 24 hours, because once US market closes, Asia opens. Once Asia closes, Europe picks up, and once Europe closes, US opens back up again. So it's 24/5, right? But the volume and the liquidity is the largest during the US cash open session, right? What that means is from 9:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning till the market closes around 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern, you can really find some good trading setups as the market moves a lot, right? If you're scalping, if you're a day trader, you want some nice movements. So that's one good thing. US hours, right? I like to trade in the US hours alone because it's just better liquidity, better movements, more volatility, which you want the price to move so that you can kind of get setups throughout the day. It follows the price levels pretty nicely. So that's one thing I like because that's what my niche is, to find key levels and then trade around them. So what I have observed over time is this is a good instrument where I personally am very good at identifying the levels, and not only identifying those levels, but for the most part, NQ reacts and goes towards those levels more often than not. So which is a good thing, from probability perspective as well. Okay, from margin perspective, it depends on which broker you're using to trade that. I believe so. If you are trading this standard E-Mini NASDAQ contract, right? And if you're trading it in Thinkorswim here in TD Ameritrade, the margin requirement for one standard contract is $16,000, I think, give or take, right? It fluctuates a little bit by a few $100s or maybe sometimes a couple of $1,000s depending on volatility, but usually it's around $16,000 per contract. You can check their website for an exact figure. If you want to trade a micro contract, so actually 10 micro contracts make one standard contract. Okay, so and then you can also one micro contract margin requirement for Thinkorswim would be then so you take 16,000 divided by 10, that's $1,600, right? So on and so forth. But I personally trade in NinjaTrader. So I like this platform for a couple of reasons, because the order execution is so swift in this platform, NinjaTrader, right, that you really don't have to wait for the fill. The moment you drop the order in there, right, it fills it right there and then. So market is closed right now. So if I were to, look at this. Okay, it's not going to do it because the market is closed, but you get the idea. You can drag and drop. I might have some videos on YouTube where I'm doing that, scalping NQ. The drag and drop feature of the order, the way I like to trade, is very swift. You can make templates on the orders, and that you can choose from here, right? I have made these different templates, and then you can do that. So a lot of all the good stuff. You can have these different chart views. I trade based on tick charts, but I do like to have a view of different time frames in front of me, especially the 5 minutes, since I'm scalping this one. And let me show you. So this is their control panel. So right now you can see you have a simulated account and you have this real account. So I have around 35K in my real account, and this simulation account is whatever, if you want to practice, whatever that is. So you don't really need that much money in the futures account because you get a lot of leverage. And so right now I personally trade 5 standard contracts that only requires for NinjaTrader $5,000 of margin, right? If I were to trade the same size in Thinkorswim, right? So since the margin requirement is over there 16,000, so that would mean I need to have 16,000 times 5, around $80,000 in the account to just be able to trade, right? So that does not. You definitely need more than that in your account because that's just the margin requirement. That sort of, the broker puts a lock on that position that you cannot trade. So for example, if you had $10,000, right, in your account and you want to trade with one contract in NinjaTrader, right? So NinjaTrader will allow you to do that because they're only going to put a hold on your margin worth $1,000, and you will have a $9,000 sort of a flexible revolving cash, depending on what your position is. If it's in $300 profit, it will show you that the cash that you have in the position, because $1,000 is on hold, so you will have $9,300 worth of cash at that particular point in time, right? So if you were in loss, and it would mean that it's taking the equity from the $9,000, your loss is being calculated from that position. So that's why I think NinjaTrader offers good margin, availability in that way. So you don't have to have a big account to be able to have a bigger, if you want to be able to trade with a bigger size, right? So you can still trade 5 to 10 easily standard contracts, right? Again, I don't recommend that if you have not done that before. Even if you have done that before, it's a big size. So really recommend you start small, maybe even paper trade it for some time to see how it goes, right? Just to see understand it a little bit better, how it moves. So for example, I'm just going to talk about in a standard contract terms, right? So let's say, let's just say, for example, what could be the trade be? Okay, right? So yeah, so let's say this was the support, right? And now market retraced back up to test the previous sort of the support, turn resistance level. So let's say you shorted it here around 810, right? You shorted one contract of you have a $10,000 in your account, so that means 1,000 is locked because it's margin requirement, and then the $9,000 is floating. So now let's say you've shorted it at 10,810. It dropped from 10,810 to, let's say, all the way 10,750, right? That's a big, in terms of the futures contract, that's a big move, right? It's a nice big move because that's 50 points, right? So 50 points on one standard contract is $1,000. Okay, 10 points would have been $200. So if you shorted here at 10,810 and then you got out at 10,800, that's $200 for one standard contract. That's $200 in profit, right? And so on and so forth. If it had gone up, you would be negative $200, right? So you have to watch your risk and reward. You have to watch your position carefully and all that stuff. So let's say you shorted it and then you book your profit here at around 10,750. So that's $1,000, right? again, margin requirement is $1,000. So you made $1,000 here in maybe, let's say, I don't know, like less than an hour or something like that. So the market moves a lot in the morning. So you get a lot of setups, a lot of levels play out. And if you're scalper in terms of the futures trading that I am, I like to trade with 5 standard contracts. So that means 1 point is worth $100. So 10 points is $1,000, right? 50 points would be $5,000 with 5 contracts. And again, if you do not want to trade with a standard contract, you can trade with a micro contract as well, right? So you go here, you find the micro contract, it will bring it up, and then you can trade the micro contract. I don't know why it's not loading up, but you get the idea. You have that micro contract in Thinkorswim as well, right? So you can trade 5 contracts of micro, which means a half standard contract, right? So that's what it means. Really like this name. You would, if you like to try this out, I would highly recommend trying it in the paper account first, just so that you understand how the thing works. What's the attributes of this instrument when you're trading, how to, just to kind of feel the volatility, feel how the price structure moves, whatever your risk criteria is, your risk level of risk aversion is, you want to keep that in mind and maybe build a strategy. I personally, my strategy combines a 5-minute chart and a tick chart, different tick charts. I take the entry based on the levels in 5 minutes, but then if I'm shorting or buying, that depends on how I read the tick chart. So find out what that strategy is for you, whatever that is. It could be based on moving averages, it could be anything, right? It could be a simple price action read, it doesn't matter. But what matters is your position size and how you maintain your risk and reward ratio over X amount of trades, right? Because you want to be profitable in terms of the risk to reward ratio, right? Because that is something that will keep you in this game for long if you want to be successful and make a living out of it at some point, right? If you're thinking in those lines. So one contract, this instrument that I can trade all my life if I'm not doing other names or option trading and all that stuff. So just wanted to make this quick video. If you have any specific questions around that, let me know, but I would highly recommend just trading it a little bit to see how it works. Maybe short the contract Monday morning, on paper trade it and see how it feels, how it goes, how it trades. How do you see the price fluctuation when you see the price move, depending on what your daily goal is or weekly goal is for that name and all that stuff, right? Because it's a pretty volatile name. It moved just alone on the past 2 days, right? If I have this 4-hourly chart, look at this, right? It moved from 10,600 or actually 10,500, right, all the way down to 11,242. So that's almost 750 points, right? 750 points with one standard contract is $15,000 worth of movement, right? Your account would see. For one micro contract, that would mean $1,500 worth of movement, right? So you can, so MNQ allows you to be flexible, right? Let's say you're not, your risk profile is that you're not aggressive, where you want to have one contract, standard contract, but you're not even that, a beginner where you're like, that I have to do one micro contract. So you can maybe do 3 micro contracts, right? Which will be 0.3%, 0.3, 30% off a standard contract, right? So you can be flexible in terms of your size, depending on what kind of exposure you're looking for a 1 point move in the underlying, right? So to buy standard contract or micro contract, the price does not matter, right? If it's 10,740 or even if it's 12,000, it doesn't mean you can buy it for 12,000 and over here you can buy it for 10,700. The margin is still the same at 12,000 or even 10,700, right? So you can buy still one contract in NinjaTrader for $1,000 worth of margin, and you can still buy the same contract for $1,000 when the price is at 10,500, right? So the margin requirement to hold a position per contract does not change depending on your broker, right? So that's there's no theta decay, right? There's no time decay. If you end up holding something and you have the account size to see overnight swings, right? There's no decay. You can hold it for as long as you want, but these contracts expire, but you can always roll them over into the next 3-month contract. So like, they expire from like every 3 months. But right now, this one will expire in December of this year. Then the next one that opens up will expire in the March, and then the next one will be in June. So it's every 3 months, right? So you can keep on rolling if you want to hold it for indefinite amount of time, but normally people don't do that, right? They just trade it. So yeah, just if you have any questions, anything specific you want to ask, let me know. I have some good videos scalping this name that we have posted on our channel. You can browse those. But if there's anything specific other than what I have covered so far that you cannot find even in the website, right, for this, let me know, okay? And I'll do my best to respond. Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your day.